Hi friends, welcome back to our Forever Home Flip, where we're renovating our 1970s 10,000 square foot home. I wanted to share some fun facts about the library today and also walk you through the process of its renovation. So from what we were told by the previous owner, this library wasn't added onto the house until they did some major renovations between 1994 to 1999. The library was built above the garage once they got it put in. Prior to them putting in a garage, it was just a carport under here, so this library did not exist, and it was an extension to the ballroom. That's pretty much all I know about the house from the previous owners. I'm sure I'll learn more as I get to know them and talk to them. But I wanted to share also a little bit about the number one question that I get asked in this library is, are you going to be able to fill all the shelves with books? The short answer is no. I'll probably never be able to fill up every shelf in here with books, especially books that I've read or that I want to read. It's just, there's a lot of space in here. But the long answer is that I'll have pretty full bookshelves because I am working on my PhD, and I also have so many psychology books that I saved from my undergrad as well as my master's program in marriage and family therapy. And I love thrifting books, so I'm sure at some point I'll have a good amount of these shelves filled up, but they'll definitely never all be filled up. Also, I think that would look kind of cluttered. I'd rather have some decor on here because this is going to be my office space, so I don't want just to see book spines in every single crevice of the library. So circling back, when the previous owners designed this area in 1994 to 1999, they wanted to have a wallpapered ceiling, which I think was in then. It's not in anymore. They wanted to have a wallpapered ceiling, and that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to get rid of in here, just because it's not in anymore, and so we got rid of that. That was a huge priority in here. The other thing was that this whole library just screamed yellow. It was that antique white color that kind of looks like that yellow linoleum, but it's not, and so that was one of my biggest priorities to get rid of in here and just make it feel like a much bigger and open space. I didn't ever take a video of it because we felt really ambitious when we were doing it, and I just completely forgot to get a video, but the carpet in here was like a pretty bright blue color before we removed it, so you can imagine the interesting color scheme that was in this library before. There was also wallpaper in here with a very interesting pattern. It had like red and blue kind of diamond-like figures on it, and so that, just paint the picture in your own head. So moving on to how the library actually got done. So in around November 2019, Sean started peeling the wallpaper from the ceiling in the library, and we were just so overwhelmed with everything else that we had going on in the house, and I had so much going on with school, and he had so much going on with work. So basically the library just took a back seat. Also because there was no heat in this library when we started, so it was starting to get cold, and we were just like, oh, we'll take a pause. And I'm sure you guys know, sometimes you take a pause and you just never really restart up again. So that's what happened here. So fast forward through the winter of 2019, it started getting warm again, and we were like, all right, we got this, let's do this, let's get this done. And we were just kind of worn out at that point because we had been trying so hard to keep up with all of our other social media situations, and also just like be human beings and relax once in a while, that we were burnt out so fast. And this was only like the second time doing any project in this house that we were okay with calling in people to help. So we did call in painters, and they did end up doing the library. They finished scraping the wallpaper off the ceiling, they flattened all the walls, they sprayed the wainscoting, and they painted the walls. And this process took a while because there was just so much going on. So we had to have our painters take breaks some days, and we had to take breaks some days, and with me in school and seeing clients, it was really hard to juggle with like the noise that was going on in here when they had a sand. So it was just like a pretty slow process that ended up happening. And also, not a single space on this surface of like anywhere in this library, bookshelves included, was flat. So our painters had to do a lot of sanding, a lot of touch-ups, all that stuff, and they still do have some touch-ups to do, but this was a labor of love on all ends for sure. And I went back and forth with paint colors in here probably up until the day before they put the paint on the actual walls. So initially I was like, okay, let's go for a really bold library, and I wanted the wainscoting in the buildings to be navy blue, like a deep, rich navy blue. And then I was like, well, this is a small space and it's gonna be really, closed in, so I need it to be bright white. And I'm so glad I ended up going with bright white, because I feel like if I had gone with anything else, I would have felt very trapped in this room. So I want to walk you through this part right here before I go on to anything else. So the library floor was not level, which meant there was a lot of pretty big gaps, like 1/2 inch to 1 inch gaps between the wainscoting and the subfloor. And we realized that if we were going to lay the laminate that we wanted to lay down, we were definitely going to have to make this floor as level as we possibly could, because we didn't want it to bubble up, because sometimes that can happen to laminate. And I've explained this a bunch of times, but I'll explain it again. The reason that we got laminate is because we have a lot of animals. We have 2 cats and 3 dogs, and their claws scratch up the floor. So hardwood was not an option for us. And I really didn't know much about LVP when I started this process of looking for floor. And so we have about 7,000 square feet of floor in the garage, so we're going to use it. Enough about my little rant. But we decided that we needed to level the floor, and we weren't going to move forward until it was level enough that the laminate wouldn't bubble up. So Sean primed it, and obviously he taped everything off to make sure that it wouldn't get through the cracks. And here he is putting the self-leveler on the floor. And you guys, this stuff is so cool. You kind of just like spread it around, and then it goes to the spots that aren't level. And I was really skeptical about this, because I've seen videos where like it seemed too thin and it went like in cracks and stuff like that. But obviously Sean did a good job of blocking it off, and so it worked pretty well. And also, we did not do the whole library. We didn't level the whole thing. We only leveled this one part of the library. It's like one strip of it, basically, that was really off, because the rest of it pretty much leveled out after that by itself. And so we just wanted to make sure that we brought it up to the same height as the rest of the library, so when we laid the floor down, there wouldn't be any issues. And I wanted to start showing some videos in real time, so if it seems slow, it is. This process takes a long time. When I post on TikTok, I post super sped up videos, and I post things that are just done really quickly, so it looks like it gets done faster than it actually does, and I feel like I'm not paying enough respect to how much hard work this is. And also, let me add in, I know I have sped up videos in the beginning and the end of this video, so don't come for me. I just wanted to start taking as many real-time videos as I could moving forward. And so the self-leveler took about 2 to 3 days to dry completely. I think it depends on the humidity and also the temperature that you're in and all of that stuff, so don't quote me on that, especially if you're using it. Make sure you follow the directions on the box, because I am definitely not the expert out how long it takes for self-leveler to dry. Once it was completely dry, Sean took up all of the side kind of boards that he was using. He cut up like a whiteboard kind of thing to essentially block any self-leveler from getting into the cracks that were between the subfloor and the wainscoting. After that was done, he laid down the padding that goes underneath the laminate floor just to give it some cushion, because we did get pretty thin laminate floors. And I was kind of feeling the library with the blue floor for a minute. I mean, not with the tape, but just with a colored floor. I thought it was kind of fun after there being so much white in here and so much yellow in here. I wanted a different color. And now for the final touch of this library in terms of making it look presentable before anything is really designed in here, we started putting the floor down. So Sean's dad came over and helped us lay this floor, which was so helpful, or else it would have been me or Sean trying to make 20,000 trips up and down stairs, and me navigating my way around a table saw, which I don't think I'm quite ready for yet. But fun fact, I'm learning how to put floor in so I can be a little bit more useful when we do these projects, because I have never put down laminate floor until I met Sean. Or any floor for that matter. I'm going to make a whole separate video when all of the stairs are done, because these stairs are going to be black and white too, and I don't want it to take away from the focus of the library right now. So yeah, this floor is done. The only thing left that we have to do in here, well, not the only thing, but the big thing left that we have to do in here is put quarter round down, put the mantle back up, and just do some touch-ups, and that's pretty much it. And after that comes the fun process of actually designing this space, which I'm so excited for, because that's where my passion lies. I'll be posting updates about this space very soon, so make sure you're subscribed and you turn on your notifications so you don't miss any updates that go on in the library or the rest of the house. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think so far. Also, I'd be so curious to know what you'd do to this room. Same, different, how you'd decorate in here. Give me some ideas. I have a lot of space to fill.